The killing of 6-year-old Hind Rajab by Israeli forces on January the 29th last year, as she and her family tried to flee Gaza City, caused global outrage and international demands for those responsible to be brought to justice. This is the bullet-riddled car in which Hind lay trapped and terrified with the bodies of her aunt, uncle and cousins. And what you are about to hear are the final moments of the hour-long telephone call Hind's cousin had with members of the Palestinian Red Crescent who were trying to rescue them.
مرحبا عمو. الو مرحبا عمو. الو مرحبا.
ايوه بدخل علينا. الدبابة جنبي.
انتوا متخبيين؟
في السيارة احنا جنبينا الدبابة.
انتوا جوا السيارة؟ الو الو.
This is the ambulance in which the two medics who went to try and rescue Hind were also killed. Months of investigations by Al Jazeera and in cooperation with the Hind Rajab Foundation have revealed the identity of those believed responsible, including the brigade, battalion and company commanders, as well as 22 tank crew members who are believed to have been involved in the attack.
The tank's group name is Empire of Vampires. The commander's name is Sean Glass. He's a major in rank and considers himself the inspiring mind behind the group. It was him that gave the order to fire. He is the murderer, the person directly responsible for the killing of Hind Rajab.
This is a social media post by Glass rallying troops as Israeli army operations continued inside Gaza. We have proven this year that we are changing realities, he says, and here we are reshaping them. This is how it will be, and victory will be on our side. This is Etay Chokerkov, also a member of the Israeli military's so-called Vampire Empire company. He has dual Israeli-Argentinian citizenship.
We initiated legal action against an Argentinian citizen who is a member of the same tank crew. His name is Etay Chokerkov. He is currently in Argentina, and we initiated legal proceedings against him there.
The Hind Rajab Foundation says that more than 20 names have been submitted to the International Criminal Court so complaints can be filed in different jurisdictions.
A large number of the battalion's soldiers hold dual citizenship. This opens wider spheres for our legal action in terms of domestic jurisdictions in the native countries of those criminals.
The Israeli army says it was engaged in fighting with armed Palestinians in the area when Hind and her family were killed. The ICC does have jurisdiction over crimes committed in the Palestinian territories because, unlike Israel, Palestine is a member of the Rome Statute. This means the ICC can investigate and prosecute Israeli nationals for crimes committed inside Palestine. Israel says it's cooperating with investigations into Hind and her family's killing. Despite evidence, it may be helping facilitate suspects to travel to countries where their arrest may be more difficult. Charles Stratford, Al Jazeera.
Let's speak to William Chabas, who's a professor for international law at Middlesex University. He's also a former chairperson of the Commission of Inquiry on the 2014 Gaza conflict, joining us from Gisors in Normandy this hour. Thanks for your time. What is your reaction, first of all, to this investigation?
Well, I think it's very impressive, the fact that we now have such precise information that clearly shows that the Israeli officials have been lying in their accounts about what happened. We now have names of people who we can identify and who can be charged in a court of law. So the fog of war, in a sense, has been lifted by this investigation, and hopefully it's going to lead to some form of justice.
So given the gravity of these allegations and the evidence that was submitted to the ICC, including, as you're saying, of course, the names and ranks, can the International Criminal Court now issue arrest warrants for the Israeli soldiers named in the investigation?
Absolutely, it can. It may already have done so. We don't actually know, because since the arrest warrants against Netanyahu and Gallant, the ICC has been keeping a veil of secrecy over the applications for arrest warrants and the arrest warrants when they're issued. But certainly there's enough information. It remains at the discretion of the prosecutor whether to proceed and actually seek the arrest warrants. It's possible that the prosecutor would consider this to be an individual, more isolated crime rather than a large systemic crime. It could be part of a broader charge that goes higher up in the ranks of the Israeli establishment, of the Israeli military and government, to hold accountable senior leaders for this as a kind of emblematic crime of what they've been doing.
And with some of the those named in this investigation holding dual citizenship, what role can the national courts play under the principle of universal jurisdiction in prosecuting these crimes?
Well, national courts can prosecute them. It really doesn't depend on the nationality of the accused person. It's really a matter of whether the legal system in the country permits the exercise of universal jurisdiction and whether there's political will to do it. Because in most countries, this depends on a political decision taken at a very high level as to whether or not to exercise universal jurisdiction. The other possibility is that some of the Israeli suspects could be tried based on their dual nationality by the state other than Israel, where they have nationality, and also to the extent that they may dispute the International Criminal Court's jurisdiction over the territory of Palestine, they may fall under the umbrella of their passport, of their alternative passport to the Israeli one, which may also provide a basis of jurisdiction for the International Criminal Court. And so there are many possible avenues here.
Right. And given, though, Israel's non-membership in the ICC, does that factor in at all? How realistic, then, is it that these people will face justice?
What the fact that Israel is not a party to the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court means is that it's not under a legal obligation to cooperate with an investigation by the International Criminal Court and to hand over suspects and so on. But we knew that already in their treatment of Netanyahu and Gallant, who clearly are simply fugitives within their own country in Israel. So other than that, I don't think it's of any significance at all. And the jurisdiction exists not only at the International Criminal Court, but in many, many states around the world who can prosecute these guys if we can get custody of them.
Mr. Shaybas, you yourself have led UN inquiries into Gaza in the past. How does the killing of Hind Rajab and the targeting of medics in Gaza fit within the legal definition of war crimes under international law?
Oh, well, there's no doubt about this. These are targeting or collateral damage that is disproportionate. And so it fits into a number of categories of war crimes, depending on the level of evidence that we can produce, the extent to which these were actually very deliberate, intentional killings of non-combatants, of non-combatant civilians. Obviously, when children are killed, there's no question of them being combatants. It's not even an argument or a suggestion. So absolutely, it fits in within the definitions in Article 8 of the Rome Statute. And of course, it also fits into a broader notion of war crimes under customary international law, which have been recognized and prosecuted for more than a century.
Mr. William Shaybas, you're speaking to us from Normandy this hour. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.